What is up, peeps? Welcome to the segment right here on the Chill Play Cafe. We have a lot of ways to make money solo this week and other venues that we can explore that's going to make you a ton of money. So come pull up that coffee, chill with me a little bit, and let's get through them. The first thing we got to get out of the way is the weekly challenge. That's 100K in the bank. So when I was buying this car, if you saw, I had zero balance because we deposited the 2 million point something that we made last week, and we're starting fresh, baby. So the first thing we go after is the weekly challenge, 100K in the bank. That has to do with you doing the drift races for 3 times. You don't have to become first place, but just participating for 3 times is gonna give you $100,000. Now, I haven't touched any of these drift races since they came out. This is my first time going into them, and this is my first time I'm gonna see also how much is the payout. So I spent a lot of money on this vehicle that was discounted in order to get into the drift races and compete. Now the 3 races were fun. If we're counting the fun factor, they're a lot of fun, but for the money that you're making out of it on double payouts, double RP, it's not really the best money compared to the other methods that's available to you this week. That's not to say you should dismiss this. There is 100,000 attached to it, and the top player in the drift races when it was a full room was getting $30,000. But for me, $30,000, sitting through a lobby waiting for it to get filled and then having some people quitting those variables that plays against you. Also, you might get into a lobby that the host has got contact on, and with contact on in drift racing, you are at the mercy of other players. They're knocking into you, they're gonna take away your multiplier, and it just adds a whole lot of chaos in your hand that you don't control what the outcome of the race is gonna be. So fun, yes. Money wise, not your best option, but knock out those 3 races to get that 100K. Definitely a lot of fun, and I'm probably gonna go back and play them this week, but they're not your focus when it comes to money. Let's move on to running back. And running back is a little bit interesting because the payout is a little bit more, but at the same time, you're dealing now with a team. I got into a room that was fully loaded, so all the players were there. Some players were not playing, but I lucked out and I spent around 10 minutes give or take, and the 10 minutes consisted of 5 rounds. We played all the way till the 5th round. This mode is very difficult for you to stop the dude that's got the car and he's supposed to go score it in the destination. The car is very small, the time they give you is a lot, is plenty, and you're able to escape even if they block you for a little bit. As long as you're trying and you're not giving up, most of the time you're gonna get to your destination. So we basically won by default because the game gave each team a win until the final round that was a divider, and we won by default. It had nothing to do with the skills. It had more to do with who's willing to do the work and how lucky you are, how the rounds are placed. In how many minutes we said? 10 minutes? We made 42,000. So let's round it off to 40 just to make it easy to calculate. If you spend an hour, that's $240,000. If you spend an hour, and that's you thinking to yourself that you're gonna win each round, the game is not gonna give the default to somebody else and they end up beating you. The other team did not make nowhere near 42,000. A fun mode, but I wouldn't really recommend you put all your attention on it for this week. It is something that you just play, maybe get a couple of badges that it's attached to it, and move on. Now let's move on to the meat and potato, they say. Is it meat and potato or meat and butter? Whatever they say. I'm not into butter, especially when it's hot. Ugh, kill me. So let's move on and get into the stuff that's gonna make you a lot more money than this. Starting off, let's go to the salvage yard. In the salvage yard, you can spend that 1 hour that we talked about in running back, and instead of making 240,000, you can make 400,000 by taking the top vehicle that is available to you and finishing the missions and selling it. 400,000 in 1 hour is way better because you have full control. You can go into an invite only lobby and finish all the missions that has to do with this car. If you're done with that first car, there's 2 other cars that you can do as well, and the payouts are really, really good. They're still better than the 1 hour range that we talked about, because the lowest car is offering you around 350,000. So if you want to knock these out every night, just spend an hour, knock one of these cars out, that's how much money in the bank right there. 400,000, 300,000, 700,000, another 3, you're making $1 million. It's like $1 million plus right there. And you don't have to worry about any variables or anything like that. If you're not clicking with that one, or you want something a little bit different, you can always go to the Gourmet Factory and do the FIB files. The one that they have for this week is one of the easiest missions out of the 4 of them. I was able to knock it out in just half an hour. So that's easy money in the bank. And again, just like the other missions with the salvage yard, you can go ahead and do this for the other 3 missions and rack up a whole lot of money, and you don't have to depend on any other player. I've been noticing a pattern here in most of the times that we're doing these solo money methods for the weeks with every update. Sometimes these are your best money methods that you need to get used to just doing them in order to keep that money coming in. Salvage yard and the Gourmet Factory. If you're a new player, you need to spend the time getting double payouts, double RP in different modes, or maybe enjoying the heist with other players in order to get that final payout and work your way into getting one of these businesses. It looks like these businesses are some of the best businesses in the game, and they're always going to net you a lot of money. Now in between, when I'm doing these missions, if you're crossing one of your warehouses, make sure that you're going in and maxing out your product. Even if you don't have to go and get the product yourself, you can let it get delivered to the warehouse. And this way, when Rockstar has the double payouts on the supplies being sold, whether it's for the weed factory, the money laundering factory, or whatever, you're ready and you're stocked up and good to go. So don't sleep on those in the middle. Don't get distracted. Always keep doing them. That should wrap it up for this week. I'm gonna let the game display at the end the stuff that you need to do in order to get the bonuses for this final mission in the FIB file. I managed to hit all of them without even knowing what I have to do, so that was a good bonus. But before the end of the night, basically doing these things, I was at $1 million. And when you're at $1 million in one night, playing a game that you like in order to have money to buy all these cars that we all get and we're addicted to is not a bad deal. And it's definitely something that you should go after. Listen, if I missed anything, do voice it in the chat. We are here to help each other, and if somebody knows of a different method, it's always good to know about it. Thanks for hanging with me. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. It does help me a lot. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay safe. Enjoy your weekend, peeps.